Hello, we will be learning how to combine multiple CSV files using a batch macro with Alteryx Designer today. So I just wanted to show you that I have 7 different CSV files, which shows the test completion rates for 7 different districts. And then because the number is kind of manageable here, I can definitely do this task, but by using the union tool. And if I just connect all these input files to union tools, it'll show me that I have total of 835 records to display. And if you look at it, the first one has 76, the second one has 73 records, the third one has 232, the fourth one is 101, fifth one is 111, sixth one has 119, and the last file has 123 records. When we put them all together, we're expecting to have total of 835 records, and we manage this using a union tool. But we're thinking, what if we have 50 different CSV files? Are we going to just put them all into union, which will be overwhelming? So we're going to learn how to create a batch macro to manage the same purpose. In order to do the batch macro, we will open a new workflow. And then I'm going to go ahead and put an input file here. So I need to basically give the start file while I'm designing my macro. So I'm going to do setup connections, files, select file. And the file I wanted to use is on my desktop under the completion. So I'm going to go ahead and start the first CSV file. When I run the first CSV file, as I can see, it's the 76 records. I know that from the first one too. Now, one thing I want to do is on this input, here on the fourth row, output file name as field, I am going to choose this as full path. I want to output the file name as full path. So without running this now, this one doesn't have a full path column. But when I run it again, and then if I scroll down all the way to the right, now it gives me the file name for each, for this one. It's the same file name. It's the location of the first file name. Now, what we want to do is we will be updating the file name path to read from all those different CSV files. In order to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and add a control parameter from the interface tool. So we're going to look at the interface tools, and then we're going to bring the control parameter. And then for this control parameter, I'm just going to write full path. There's not a lot to configure here. It's just a label, so it doesn't do any work yet. I'm just going to call it full path. Now, when I want to connect this, let's just check what happened to my workflow when I put a control parameter. When I put a control parameter to my workflow, if I click on workflow settings, it automatically recognizes as a batch macro, because for a batch macro, we do need a control parameter here. So now when I want to connect this control parameter to my input data, an action button will appear. So when I just connect these two, I get an automatic update value and action button here. So what I want to do is, for this one, we're going to set what we want to do with this. So we're going to say, we're going to update the value, and then this is the file path, right? And then all the way to the down here, we're going to choose replace this file path. So what we're saying is, this is my file path on this file, but then when I'm using this macro, I want you to update the file name path here. And then we're just going to use the macro output to use it. So macro output is under the same interface tools. Let's just run this first, avoid the error, and then 76. So I'm going to bring the macro output, and then output 5. One thing I want to look at here is if I do View, Interface Designer, and then if I click on the last part here, Properties, for this macro, you can change the icon of the macro here. You can just choose, let's choose a yellow icon. For this macro, if all the files have the same schema, you can keep this. But if you're not so sure that all the files, they have a different schema, you can definitely choose the second option. In my case, I have all the files have the same schema, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to still choose the first one. Now, I'm going to run this. And then we just have to save this as our macro. So File, Save As, Browse. On the same completion folder, I want to put this as macro 1. You can name it anything you like. And then just run it one more time. You don't have to, but I wanted to. Now let's see how are we going to use this to combine these 7 CSV files without the union button. So I'm going to start with a brand new workflow, and I don't need my interface designer anymore. So we're going to bring a directory tool. And then on this directory tool, yeah, I want to see what kind of files I have, how many files I have in my completion folder on my desktop. And then this will tell me that I have 7 different files and I have a macro 1. So if I don't want to see the macro 1, which I don't want to, I will just go ahead and change this to, I want to only see this CSV files. Now, it only shows me the 7 CSV files in this directory. Now, if we look at here, I have the full path column under this directory, which is matching the same format as my macros full path. So I want to show you our macro full path. If we scroll down to the file name, the file name format here, test completion rates 1 CSV. If when you're using Excel, if you're getting some of these extra icons here, you have to do some kind of formula in your workflow to match your file names. But right now, mine are matching, so I don't have to do anything. I'm going to bring my macro, so I'm going to click on Insert, Macro, and I want to bring the macro 1. And then it automatically recognizes that I will be, this is the configuration, full path. Let's run what happens. So after the macro, I have these 835 records, which was successfully combined here. And then here, if we just look at how many different file names, so I'm going to just group by file name here to see if it actually picked up data from all these files, different files. I can see that I have here 7 different file names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they're all here, but I do not need a summarize tool. And then you can just now use your data, and you may want to do some data cleaning here, because since you have a leading trail spaces over there, and this is how you will create a batch macro using Alteryx Designer. Thank you for watching.